incredible energy. It is just so awesome to be here with everybody this morning. So, hi, I'm Heidi Kohlberg, and I am a vivacious member of Unity Renaissance. Woo!
That's right, baby.
Okay, transition, world peace, which is also very energizing, and we can bring so much to it, right? World peace is our word for today. And please join me in our affirmation together. Peace shared between people spreads throughout the world. I contribute to world peace when I join in spirit with all people who dedicate themselves to expressing divine love, united in the belief that God is within everyone. I affirm the dignity of humankind and honor each person as a unique expression of God. I recognize and release any unkind thoughts or feelings toward any person or group of people. I respect all others and seek to learn more about customs and beliefs that are unfamiliar to me as I grow in the spirit of kinship. I believe a warm, friendly attitude communicates my intention as effectively as my words. I smile easily and extend myself to others in a spirit of friendship. I remain mindful that as peace flowers between individuals, peace grows in the world. Our scripture verse is from Micah chapter 4, verse 3. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. If you'd like prayer support today, we have prayer chaplains available to pray with you. Would our prayer chaplain, Hazel, please stand? So she will be available after the service in the chapel. You may also fill out a prayer request form in the narthex or online and submit it via our website. And now would you please stand and join in the Lord's Psalm.
Holy Creator, we praise your name. Your will in heaven and earth the same. Supply our needs, Lord, from day to day. Let your forgiveness light our way. Lead us away from temptation's hold. Deliver us, Lord, into your fold. For all the kingdom, power, and praise, with you began and with you stays. Holy Creator,
Our Father, who art in
we
heaven,
praise your name.
hallowed be thy name.
Your will in
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven.
Supply our needs.
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we have forgiven our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever.
Into your fold. For all the kingdom, power, and praise, with you began and with you stays.
online.
Hey, just in time. One of my favorite songwriters, a little Irish guy from New York, but he's very Irish. His name is John Smith. He wrote this song. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound like he's Irish. John Smith doesn't sound like an Irish song. It's one word, by the way. Anyway. Yeah, that's it. He's great. He does great tours to Ireland. I'm killing time until my voice clears up. Are you ready? Especially for the guys out there, I have a little tougher time living with their hearts wide open. The soles on these shoes are wearing thin from all of the miles that I have been searching. The trail might be cold, but it's not quite frozen. But I'll find my way if I just walk each day with my heart wide open. I've been worn down like an old river stone, caught up in the current, tumbled and thrown. My spirit is weak, but it's far from broken. Let that river run, and I'll take what comes with my heart wide open. I want to take every breath like it's the last one that I'm gonna get. I want to release every regret, let go of the pain and forgive. I want to know what it's like to live with my heart wide open. Held on too tight, and I've let go too soon. I have built walls clear up to the moon, but now here I stand, unguarded and hoping that love calls again. 'Cause I'll jump right in with my heart wide open. I want to take every day like it's the last one that I'm gonna get. I want to release every regret, let go of my pain and forgive. I want to know what it's like to live with my heart wide open. Yeah, I want to know what it's like to live with my heart wide open. Wide open. With my heart wide open. With my heart wide open. Yeah, Nick Flores on saxophone. Thank you.
When Paulo Coelho was a teenager in Brazil, he knew that he wanted to be a writer someday. But his parents did not approve. His parents also thought that he was too introverted and stubborn. So believe it or not, when he was 17, they had him committed to a mental hospital. He escaped from that mental hospital 3 times until he was released at the age of 20. And thereupon, he entered law school at his parents' request, but very soon dropped out to travel the world. And during a 500-mile-plus pilgrimage walk in northwest Spain, Paulo Coelho had an awakening that led him to write his first book. He later noted, "From the moment I realized that I wanted to be a writer, I said, it may take 10 days, 10 years, or 20 years, but I am going to write." I started by writing songs. I started writing articles for newspapers. I had no choice but to follow the thing that I wanted to do. Many of you, I'm sure, are familiar with him as the author of the best-selling book, The Alchemist. And in it, he writes, "You will never be able to escape from your heart. It is better to listen to what it has to say." Well, as it turns out, our hearts have quite a lot to tell us. They seem to be connected to or attuned to a source of intelligence beyond time and space. We might call it God or Spirit or the infinite. But at the same time, our hearts connect us to who we most truly and deeply are. Isn't that something? They are our greatest source of wisdom and guidance and intuition and insight. Well, now scientists are telling us that our hearts are even more intelligent and powerful than we ever imagined. Excuse me. In their book, The Heart Math Solution, Doc Childre and Howard Martin write this: "We now have scientific evidence that the heart sends us emotional and intuitive signals to help govern our lives. Instead of simply pumping blood, it directs and aligns with many systems in the body so they can function in harmony with one another. And although the heart is in constant communication with the brain, we now know that it makes many of its own decisions." Yes, it's true. The heart has a mind of its own. You might have had a sense of that in your past. In the 1970s, researchers John and Beatrice Lacey discovered that although the brain sends orders to the heart through the nervous system, the heart doesn't always obey. Rather, the heart seems to have its own distinct logic, and under certain circumstances, it thinks for itself. Further, the Laceys discovered that the heart doesn't just receive messages from the brain, it sends messages to the brain. That the brain not only understands, but obeys. Isn't this so different from how we usually think of the hierarchy within us? Well, in 1991, a pioneering neurocardiologist named Dr. J. Andrew Armour went even further. He found that the nervous system within the heart is sophisticated enough to qualify as a little brain in its own right. That's right. Doesn't this blow your mind? The heart is its own brain. Little, what? In the 90s. Well, it's always had it, but we just learned. So this heart brain is an intricate network of at least 40,000 neurons or nerve cells, as many as are found in the information hubs in this brain. It also has neurons, neurotransmitters, proteins, and support cells. The heart's brain can learn, remember, feel, and sense. It helps regulate the body's autonomic nervous system and also contributes to higher thought and reasoning. Our hearts are not only brilliant, they are extremely powerful. The electromagnetic field generated by the heart, through which it transmits energy and information, and yes, there it is for you to see. This is the most powerful energy field produced by the body. It is about 5,000 times stronger than the electromagnetic field generated by the brain. The heart's electromagnetic field not only permeates every cell in our bodies, it also radiates outside of us. It can be measured up to 8 to 10 feet away, with sensitive detectors called magnetometers, which is another way of saying, is my mic okay? We doing okay? Good, okay. Which is another way of saying that people feel our vibe. I mean, if you can think of that picture, right? People feel our vibe and we feel theirs, which explains when you sometimes walk into a room and you immediately feel uplifted by the positive vibration of the people there, which to me is a lot how it feels in here on a Sunday. Or similarly, or actually conversely, sometimes you walk into a room and you feel like, something's not right here, right? It feels like people are a little bit at odds with each other, even though on the surface everyone looks fine. Basically, we're picking up on their energy fields. Well, you would think with having this powerhouse intelligence right at the center, that we would be guided by it in every decision and action we make. But that is not the case. We tend to value the head more than the heart, isn't it true, right? We tend to gravitate toward logic and reason. And often we dismiss intuition because it seems kind of random or maybe inappropriate or sometimes even a little scary. If we're faced with a major decision in life, what do? We sit down and we weigh out the pros and cons, and then we make the most rational choice. But how many times have you made a logical decision and later said to yourself, I wish I would have, if only I had listened to my heart? Yeah, now let me just be clear about this. When I say listen to your heart, I'm not saying to indulge every wild idea or crazy kind of craving you have. Oh, but I really, really want. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about tuning into the highest intelligence, the highest wisdom within you. You know, we can all think of times in our lives when we have listened to our hearts and times when we haven't. I can certainly think of jobs I took and dates I went on where my heart was telling me no, but I thought, oh, what the heck, I'll go ahead and do this. And thankfully, there was no lasting damage from any of that. But there have also been many, many times when I have listened to and followed my heart. So 7 years ago, Richard and I had lived in an apartment here in, well, actually, it was in Virginia Beach. And so we decided we wanted to buy a home. So we went to the wonderful Amber McCullough, the best realtor on the planet, and asked her to help us find a home. So she showed us many, many houses. I bet any of you who are home buyers have had this same kind of experience. She showed us many houses, and a lot of them had the features that we were looking for, and some had the ability to be modified to have the features that we wanted. But you know, they just didn't grab me. And finally, I said to Amber, gosh, Amber, am I just being too picky? And she smiled and said, no, you'll know when you find the right one. And sure enough, really only a few days later, as soon as I walked in what is now our wonderful home and has been for 7 years, I absolutely knew it. It's like, this is the one. This is the one. My heart told me so. And it was absolutely right. You know, in thinking about this, I look over the very highlights of my life, the greatest blessings of my life, and they have always resulted from following my heart. It was my heart that told me to have children, my beloved Ben and Emily. My heart led me to actually pursue and then marry my beloved Richard. It was my heart that told me to leave my corporate career and go into ministry. And my heart led me here to Unity Renaissance, a place I fell in love with the minute I walked in the door. You see, you know this feeling. You've experienced this feeling. It's like a very deep, deep knowing within you and a sense of rightness and wholeness. Our way shower often spoke, of course, about the importance of the heart and staying attuned to the heart as a way of projecting love, but also just as a spiritual practice. In Matthew 5:8, he says, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will know God." Well, that's been misconstrued a bit out there. Pure in heart, it does not mean being chaste or perfectly virtuous in the context of the times and also the wisdom tradition. He was talking about being single-eyed, being focused, being singly focused on the heart, being, we might even say, unified at the heart level, being wholehearted. You know, there's a great little statue outside of the entrance to the building that comes into the offices out here. It shows Jesus, a likeness of Jesus, pulling his robe apart to indicate his heart. And I just think, what a beautiful illustration of the very central point that he was always trying to make. Let your heart be your guide. Let your heart be your guide. And love one another. Nevertheless, in this very fast-paced and sort of logic-driven life that we lead, how can we remember to connect to the heart? How can we rediscover the wisdom of the heart that we may have been ignoring? Well, there's a great technique. This is really if you're faced with a difficult decision and you're trying to kind of weigh it out. So this is a technique that's described in a book called Heart Intelligence. And the woman who wrote this is, not the book, but this chapter, her name is Deborah Roseman. And she talks about how she, in the 1970s, how she was teaching psychology to adults. And she said she had this one exercise she would do if a student was facing a sort of a key issue or a decision about a relationship or a career. She would do the following. She would take 2 pillows and put them on the floor, one to represent the head and the other to represent the heart. Then she would have the student go sit on the pillow that represented the head and speak aloud what her head wanted to say about this particular issue to her heart. And then the student would go over and sit on the other pillow and share what the heart wanted to say to the head. And would continue alternating in this fashion for a couple of times. And she said it was remarkable that sometimes it seemed almost like there were 2 completely different people speaking from each of these perspectives. But she also said after 3 or 4 times, she would notice a palpable shift, that the student would begin to sort of settle into their heart wisdom. And everybody in the class would notice it, that there was a shift in the depth of what they were sharing. There was a shift in the quality of energy that was coming through them. And each time, she said, the student, through this kind of intuitive tuning in, but also combining the input from the head and the heart, they would either come up with how to solve or decide the situation, or at the very least, they would be clear on their next step. She said this happened so often that I was convinced that the heart was accessing another intelligence. Oh, yeah, of course it was. Of course it was. You see, our heart wants us to hear it. It wants us to tune in. So the next time you are faced with a difficult decision, you, of course, may try this technique. Put 2 pillows on the floor, sit on one, then the other, head, heart, head, heart, head, heart, until you come to sort of the truth, really. If you don't like getting up and down that much, picture a few of you, or me. Anyway, you could just take out a piece of paper and write out the conversation. Here's what your head says about this. Here's what your heart has to say. Keep going back and forth until you gain clarity. Well, there are certainly other ways to tune into the wisdom of the heart if we aren't facing a critical decision, but just as an ongoing spiritual practice. So here are a few simple ideas for you, simple practices to connect with your heart's wisdom. And the first one is, make time for peace and quiet. It doesn't have to be a really long time. Just make time for peace and quiet, because the heart can be heard best in the silence. Next, bring conscious awareness to your heart. Think about your heart. Send it some love. Tune into it. One way you can do this is imagine breathing in and out through your heart space. You know, that is a pretty remarkable technique, even when you're out driving around or you're getting frustrated, whatever it might be. It immediately shifts your perspective. It makes you feel as though Spirit is breathing you. And third, and this really comes from heart math, is to come into coherence through loving thoughts. This is really about opening your heart now that you've made the connection. The typical way of doing that is to bring into your mind some thoughts of love, or care, or appreciation. Even just thinking those things, don't you feel a warmth start to fill you? Yeah. So you stay on that in order to come into what heart math calls coherence, which is essentially alignment and harmony and balance, body, mind, and spirit. And finally, once you're in that coherent state, you can do this if you're ready. What do you want me to know? What do you want me to know? And then listen, like really listen. You may even want to write down what you hear. When we tune into this incredible intelligence of the heart, we begin to experience a great increase in love and compassion and non-judgment and tolerance, patience, and forgiveness. It is absolutely a gateway to all of these spiritual gifts. So once we open our hearts, the task then is to keep them open, or as the song says, live with your heart wide open. What that means is you go out into the world and you see through the eyes of your heart. You make a conscious effort to soften your gaze instead of looking for differences or succumbing to judgment, to seek reason to feel compassion. You know, June is a particularly great month to practice open-heartedness. It is Pride Month, so a perfect opportunity for us to remember that all human beings deserve love and respect and fair treatment regardless of their gender orientation, or their gender identity or sexual orientation. There's a great chance to remember that. Next Saturday is Juneteenth. It's June 19th, a day that commemorates the effective end of slavery in the United States, but also reminds us we have a lot more work to do. And the way to begin doing that work is to love better and to be even more committed to justice going forward. You know, following your heart isn't necessarily the easy path. Sometimes it takes a great deal of courage to listen to your heart and follow. But as Paulo Coelho tells us, you will never regret it. He says this, from the moment you are following your heart, your life will be full of wonders. Synchronicities happen. Miracles happen. People show up. The exact person you need to talk to today shows up right in front of you. Haven't you had that happen? It's amazing. Or the person who has an answer to your question calls you out of the blue. When you're living with an open heart, miracles happen, and you don't have to create them from a sense of effort. They just happen effortlessly. I have found all of this to be absolutely true. So even though following your heart may not necessarily be the easy path, it is the only way to truly live, and it is the only way to live true to who you most deeply are. However daunting the journey may seem, you embark on it as a whole person, aligned and in integrity, with Spirit guiding and supporting you every step of the way. And really, what more could we ask for? Let's turn now to our meditation. As many of you know, I practice heart math. I am super enamored with it. Gail Boynton, sitting here on the third row, is a heart math instructor. I'm sure she'd love to tell you more about it. But today in our meditation, I'm just going to share a very, very simple exercise that comes to us from heart math. So I just invite you to get comfortable in your seat. Breathe in deeply. And let it go. Just feel Mother Earth supporting you. Feel how right it is to be right where you are. Breathe in one more time. And as you release, feel your body relax. From from the top of your head, just relaxing very easily, all the way through your torso, your legs, out your feet, and feel peace. And just breathe into the sense of ease and grace. Feeling spirit all around you and within you, loving and nurturing you. I invite you for a moment to put your hand on your heart. And imagine now that you are breathing in and out through your heart. Very easily in and out. And exhale a little more deeply than you inhale to relax even more. Your sweet, precious heart. Breathe in through it and breathe out. And now on each in-breath, feel yourself breathing in ease, and love, and compassion. And breathing it in as surely as a thirsty flower drinks in the rain. Ease, love, and compassion. You can put your hand back in your lap and just enjoy the steady rhythm of breathing in love, ease, and compassion. In and out through the heart. For these few moments in the silence. Take a moment now to send a little thank you to this big, beautiful, brainy, loving heart of yours that you carry with you, that can be your sure guide, your source of wisdom, love, compassion, intuition, and grace. And we go forward, seeing through the eyes of our heart, giving from the deepest place of love within us. Thank you, God, for these teachings. Thank you. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen.
Flow, Spirit, flow through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding peace. Show, Spirit, show through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding love.
Let's take a deep breath in and out. That feels good, doesn't it? All right, well, now is the time in our service for the sharing of our financial gifts in support of Unity Renaissance. I invite you to give from the heart today. Whatever sense of gratitude you may feel or whatever you have received from being a part of this community, I invite you to give back in kind. There are many different ways to give. You can go to our website. There's a button there. It says Give Online, tells you about all of your options. You're certainly welcome to send a check in the mail if that works for you. The easiest way is by using your smartphone. You begin by texting the word give and thereafter the amount you wish to contribute to
540-418-1228. Text now.
Jazz hands.
That's a new flourish there.
Yeah.
Okay. For all of you who are here today, of course, we are also happy to accept checks. If you prefer to do that, there's a love offering basket in the back of the room. We invite you to just drop it in there as you leave. Now, let's hold our gifts in our hands and bless them with our offertory blessing together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
Give and it's giving back to you. Give and it's giving back to you. Give and it's giving back to you. Press down, shaking together, running over. Back in good measure, it's giving back to you.
Brother Nick's gonna sing about the one heart we all live in. I forget how it begins. No, you're right. I'm just messing with him.
There's a new church on the horizon, made of light, not of stone, calling out to all creation, you are not alone. Lions and lambs, saints and sinners, best of friends, enemies, woman and man, losers and winners, they are all in you and me. We are one heart, looking for answers. We are one soul, finding our way through the dark. One dream we share together. We are all a part of one heart. Out in the cold, there are faces hidden by the wind and rain. Hold out your hand, someone will take it and bring you home again. 'Cause we are one heart, looking for answers. We are one soul, finding our way through the dark. One dream we share together. We are all a part of one heart. Around the world heart.
Nick Hill.
And we'd like to take a moment to welcome any of you who are here today for the first, second, or third time. We have a special gift for you. All you have to do is raise your hand. If you're here for the first time, we invite you to hold up one finger, second time, 2 fingers, third time, 3 fingers. Yeah, welcome. Beautiful. We have a gift bag for you, tailor-made to the number of your visit. And we're super glad that you chose to be with us this morning and hope we see you again and again. Welcome.
Blessings, and thank you for being here with us. Don't know if we're on.
There you go.
Are we on? Yay! Okay. So great offerings. Reverend Richard's going to be teaching a 5-week course on Tuesday night, starting this Tuesday. Lessons in Truth, based on the book by Emily Cady. It is one of the most foundational books about unity, and this is an incredible way to do a deep dive into unity basics. He's going to be teaching online as well as in person here in the fellowship hall. So you can either register online or go ahead and sign up in the narthex.
Yeah, we have a new hall wall right over there in the recessed area outside of the fellowship hall, so do take advantage of that. Coming up this Saturday, we have this wonderful brain optimization, speaking of brains, this is about this brain. Anyway, brain optimization seminar with the wonderful holistic practitioner, Dr. Janine Lex. That'll be at 10 a.m. this coming Saturday. It'll also be available, it's available in person as well as on Zoom. We're asking $15 a person love offering. But she's just so brilliant, and she does this in about an hour. These workshops don't take very long. She's going to talk about how to maximize your cognition, your brain health through nutrition, supplements, practices, etc. Learn about your brain's performance and optimize cognition using the brain span test. So it really is about developing this resource and keeping it healthy for the highest results in terms of memory and learning and so forth, and higher thinking, actually. So you can register on our website. You also can sign up on the hall wall today.
And wonderful opportunity coming up after the service on June 27th. We're going to be hosting letters or notes to incarcerated persons, here in the fellowship hall after the service. And it's a great way to, provide inspiration to those in need. So blank cards will be provided. You just need to come and let some of your spirit creatively out through your fingertips.
Really, just even the slightest little note, an affirmation, just help someone believe in themselves is just such a beautiful gift to give. So we're getting very excited about the summer here. We have the Mighty Men of Unity are sponsoring the We Are Back barbecue at 6 o'clock on Friday, July the 2nd. It's going to be a fun and festive time. They'll be out there cooking in the parking lot, meat as well as vegetarian options available. A wonderful music team is going to play music for us outside. Additionally, we're going to have a silent auction with, I believe, art pieces available. It's going to be really terrific. We're asking $5 a person for that, if possible, if that works for you. And the proceeds will go to benefit the children's play area. So we're just doing so many cool, exciting things here. Finally, next week will be Father's Day, and I will be talking about not so macho, which turns out to apply not only to the men in our lives, but also to Christianity. So be sure to stay tuned. I'm looking forward to that next week. We hope all you guys come out here and celebrate Father's Day with us. Well, that's it for our service today. Let's stand together now and join in our prayer for protection, followed by our peace song. Together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth. that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow to take